All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we are going to talk about what BOZY Ennis, the father of JARON Ennis, had to say was a big difference or could be the critical factor in the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight. Unique take to hear from somebody, but not something that is not unexpected. Let's talk about that in this video. This video is brought to you by Boxing Showtimes. A new professional boxing schedule in your pocket. It helps you to keep updated on boxing events and details. Also assists you when you want to find bars near you to watch fights and allows you to set reminders for upcoming fights. Download the Boxing Showtimes for your smartphone and your tablet. Thank you again to our newest sponsors, Boxing Showtimes. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about the welterweight division, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford undisputed fight, and some input that came as far as who would win the fight and what would be a critical factor in the outcome of the fight from one of the best trainers in boxing out of Philadelphia, BOZY Ennis, the father of JARON Ennis, trainer of JARON Ennis, trainer of a lot of different Philadelphia fighters. Also had two older sons that were professional fighters, still gets in the ring with himself, and you can see some sparring work from him. Dude can still fight at 65 years old. I believe he's around 65 years old. And he had a very interesting take on what would be the difference in the fight between Errol and Terence and why he has it a 50-50 fight and does not have it as a bigger edge for Errol Spence Jr. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel, to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber, supporter to the channel, welcome back. Thank you so much for your continued support. That is really what makes the channel go. You guys just keep coming, chopping it up with me in the comment sections and in the live streams that we do. Thank you guys so much, so much for your input. All right, so let's get into this. BOZY Ennis gave an interview, or actually had a conversation that he was having outside of his gym, recorded on YSM Media. Definitely go check those guys out. A lot of good material that those guys bring out of the gyms in Philadelphia. And if you don't know, same thing go with another podcast on YouTube called the Rise Podcast that brings you a lot of really good gym information out of Baltimore, which, if you're not from the United States, are two of the epicenters of boxing in the United States of America. So they were talking about what the difference was with Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, and BOZY said that he had it as a 50-50 fight. And the reason that he had it that way is because he was like, look, I don't know what Errol Spence Jr. has in him. I don't know how he was raised. I know for sure that Terence Crawford was from the streets like we are, not me. That's him referring to the cats around that he's talking to, saying, look, I know Terence Crawford is from the street, and you're going to have to KILL Terence Crawford in order to beat him in that ring. So, the question for him is, does Errol Spence Jr. have that type of, does he have that type of dog in him? Is he raised that type of way where he's going to do whatever he has to do to win? And he's just, just so hungry that he just will do, he'll go wherever he has to go mentally and physically in order to win that fight. Right now, the discussion went back and forth about, other fighters that have, may or may not been from the inner city. Because I really think when he's talking about kids, people that are from the inner city, right? So Terence Crawford is from inner city Omaha, Nebraska. Some people would say, that's Omaha, Nebraska. That's not Chicago. That's not Baltimore. That's not Philadelphia. But no, it's Omaha, Nebraska has most definitely got its rough parts to it, and most definitely got that attitude about it, where it's not really somewhere you can really want to mess around too much, depending on where you are. I do believe that the part that he's talking about, that he's from, is North Omaha. I don't believe it's I believe it's North Omaha. Please, somebody from Omaha, correct me if I got my sides incorrect. And they said, Errol Spence Jr. on the other hand is not a kid that really grew up in the inner city. So will he have that toughness, right? Now, BOZY also said, like, if Terence Crawford can win, if Terence Crawford can come out and do something to him early in the fight, then, Terence Crawford can win. But if Terence Crawford does not start fast, he's like, look, man, that may go real south for him because Errol Spence Jr. is really coming to get you, right? Now, my input on this is I think that is a bit of a misconception that people have about where people's fighting spirits come from. Now, not to say that I'm as big an expert on it as BOZY Ennis is. However, know a lot of cats raised in the inner city, know a lot of cats raised in the suburbs, raised in the country, right? So, for example, Errol Spence Jr. is, as far as you have in Texas, he's a city kid. He's from I think he's from DeSoto, Texas, right outside of Dallas. But I would not call him he's not necessarily a suburbanite. However, I do remember a story that his father told. I interviewed him a couple years back about what got him to know that Errol should box. And it was the fact that Errol was fighting a lot in the neighborhoods and enjoyed fighting in the neighborhoods, right? And got very, very good at fights just against other people, right? So Errol Spence Jr. is somebody that likes to fight. And there are certain people in the suburbs, whether you're from the country, certain people, man, are just triggered that way, that they enjoy fighting. They like getting in fights with people, and there's people that just are born with a lot of dog in them. Other people can be put in situations where they have got to develop that, right? Either through constantly having to fight somebody in the neighborhood that they're from, or having like really traumatic episodes or things go on in their life. But like, for example, Muhammad Ali, some people act like he's from a middle-class neighborhood. He's really not. In Louisville, he had different issues in his life that made him want to fight. Like his father he's passed away. And I don't think a lot of people share these stories, but my family's from there. His father was an alcoholic, left his mother on a couple different occasions, right? He had to spend time living in different places around Louisville with different relatives when he was young. But he was always somebody that talked a lot and liked to fight a lot. And that just was kind of who he was. That was in his personality. For me, I think that's in Terence Crawford's personality. I think that's in Errol Spence Jr.'s personality. And you can tell how Errol fights, that Errol is not going to be somebody that is going to back down. Because if he was somebody that was going to back down when the going got tough and start moving away and not really wanting to engage like that, he would have never had that fight. He would have never had that fight like that with Sean Porter. He probably would have never have been able to win that fight over there in the UK against Kell Brook. I do think that Errol Spence Jr. has already answered the question about whether or not that guy is tough-minded and whether or not he has that, he really has what it takes to really dig down, and have, a serious fight with somebody. And I don't think that, Terence Crawford is going to punk Errol Spence Jr. With just a soft press, right? So now BOZY Ennis did not say that he knew Errol did not have that, right? But he just pointed out that background that they both had as something that would let him know that, okay, Terence Crawford is going to be somebody that is really serious in there, because, he would rather die in the ring than let Errol get the best of him. Now, I will tell you, dude, that I do know cats from the inner city areas that are not like that at all, that are just, soft as baby wipes. And they came from rough areas, but are still soft as baby wipes when it comes down to whether or not they know how to fight you or not, right? But, it is what it is. I think the fight's going to be a good fight if it gets made. Still hopeful that it gets made. Haven't heard anything from anybody really about it over the last couple weeks. Still just waiting to hear that announcement, and so that we can have something really to look forward this boxing year, because other than that, man, there's just not really a whole lot of fights that are super intriguing. Canelo was giving us the fight with Gennady Golovkin that nobody asked for. Usyk is giving Anthony Joshua's giving Usyk another fight with Usyk in a rematch that we probably already know what the outcome of that's going to be, right? So Devin Haney has a rematch with Kambosos with an outcome that we already know what it's going to be, right? So this is, I think, is a big fight that could carry the second half of the year. Definitely hoping it gets made. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out.